This is the Cash Value Solutions Podcast, where your hosts, Jason Pohlmeyer and Kyle Mann, shed light on little-known money truths to help you take control of your financial future and become your own banker. Subscribe, rate, and review the show, and check us out at cashvaluesolutions.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cash Value Solutions Podcast. What do we have on tap today, Kyle?
We're going to talk about what we have found with being mission driven, like how it's important.
How it gives you a sense of purpose in life and kind of gives you a guide of what to do, what you're doing.
Yeah, in your personal life and in the business life.
Mm-hmm. You want to get us going?
Yeah, so I guess like speaking from experience, during college and stuff like that, I thought it was just normal that, oh yeah, you go to college, you get a degree, then you go get a job somewhere and you just do whatever you're told and blah, 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 blah. And then I found out that I absolutely hated that and that I needed to kind of change from what I had thought. And I guess over time, like I've found out, like once my mission turned to like finding out how do I work for myself and things like that, like everything else in my life changed to where, it was lots of hours, but I didn't care. Like I was working towards a mission. I had a goal.
And I remember you telling me as well, like, just like, as far as like repairs and stuff for things that you would operate, like once you had a mission and stuff, like those went way down, like mistakes stopped happening. It's just that sense of purpose and things, and it just keeps you on the right path, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, when you like have a purpose, like things just change completely in your life to where, you can't understand it until you develop that purpose.
Yeah, it's not like having a job with a to-do list. Like that there's things that need done, a to-do list, so to speak, when you're self-employed or have that mission, but it means a lot more to you because you're building up to something.
And this isn't like ragging on people with jobs either. I know people who have jobs and they're very, like they're fulfilling their purpose, doing those jobs and things are going great. But I'm talking about if you have a job or maybe you are self-employed or whatever, but you're not working towards a mission or your purpose, like that's when things go haywire.
Yeah. And I can speak for myself, I guess it didn't hit me in the thought process that you kind of explained, but I always knew subconsciously when I was working a job for a farmer after college that I wasn't as happy as I should have been. It took me a really long time, it feels like, to figure it out, about 6 years. But,
yeah,
for me, it was having to do a lot of the jobs on the farm that nobody wants to do. Well, yeah, you're hired help, that's going to happen. But then after doing those jobs, not, I guess, being rewarded with the things that I did want to do, For me, I enjoy harvesting. So I hardly ever got to run the combine. I was stuck in the grain cart most of the time and sometimes in the truck. Didn't enjoy that. Kept thinking next year's going to be different, If you have that type of mindset, next year is going to be different, but you aren't actively working to change something in your life,
nothing will change.
It won't change.
No.
It took me 6 years to figure that out, but it won't change. That's the paradigm that you're stuck in, and unless you do something to change it, it doesn't happen on its own.
If your mindset doesn't change and the person you work for, if their mindset doesn't change, nothing is going to change the next year.
If the actions you're doing over and over again throughout the year don't change.
Yep. You're going to be in the same spot.
Go
ahead.
Okay. Well, I was just going to finish up my thought about working before. And I guess for me, what led me to thinking about things differently was my level of happiness at my job. I just knew that something was not how it should be. Nothing against the person that I worked for. A really good boss. It's just, he wanted to do the things that I wanted to do. And because of that, I think it made us a bad match for each other. Now that now that I'm self-employed doing my own thing, yeah, there's absolutely been challenges to it, but I get to plan the day to go how I want it to. I get to plan the things that I want to do. Yeah, I got to do some things I don't want to do still, but
You're never going to get away from that.
exactly. I mean, those things differentiate, the successful people from the unsuccessful people, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, like, you're not going to be happy every day either. Even when you have that mission, that purpose, like, every day is not rainbows and bunnies and
All that is so important to remember, and you can't get caught up in the fact of listening to people saying they're fulfilling their dream and thinking that they're happy every single minute of every day.
yeah.
No,
Look,
there is still challenges that
Mhm.
have to be met and dealt with, and believe Kyle and I go through those too.
oh
We
yeah,
absolutely do. We're just getting started on this path.
and yeah. I mean, you're going to have more stress, more than likely too, during this path. But
Especially when you're first building into
yeah.
your mission.
yep, when you don't have all the capital reserves, like we talk about all the time, like having a bunch of capital on the sidelines when you need it, that is peace of mind. And when you are in a capital intensive business and you're working to build that capital, like there's gonna be stress.
And when you want to expand, but I mean, capital could be a limiting factor. Yeah, there's money out there that you can get, but it takes time and maybe deals aren't going to be around for that long.
Yeah.
Creates hard decisions that have to be made.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you tie up all the capital that you do have built up to make that deal happen and potentially put your business at risk?
These are all questions you have to ask yourself daily. But as with IBC, we don't see the full benefit up front with IBC because we have those insurance costs to overcome and stuff. But we're all like we do IBC because of the long term, what we can achieve long term. And that's exactly what we are doing with this, mission.
With your mission.
Yeah, this mission driven life is that you're putting faith into that all this is going to pay off.
But not only are you working towards that, but it should be a happier way of life for you as well. Once you start on that mission.
Yeah.
And that's something that's worth a lot. I mean, it's hard to put a financial value on that, but you can't be successful doing things if you're not happy, because you just won't have that same drive and that purpose that you need if you're going to fulfill, like what we're talking about right now, your mission.
Yeah, I've seen polls where people are asked, would you rather be unhappy and make $100,000 a year or be happy and make $50,000 a year? And the overwhelming majority say they'd rather be happy and making $50,000 a year.
And I would fall into that same crowd too.
Sure.
If
yeah.
I was asked that type of question.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that you can be happy and make substantial amounts of money while helping people, as long as your mission is, driven towards that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be chasing the 6-7 figure incomes. I mean, that's totally up to you. If your mission and purpose isn't that, then no, who cares?
Yeah. But it should be fulfilling. I mean, you should be fulfilling that desire in you for that mission.
And adding value to other people.
Yeah. Do you think that inherently comes along with your mission or not?
What part?
The fulfilling, a desire and everything inside of you and helping people.
I think so, because how do you develop a mission if you don't have some sort of desire in your heart? Like, I don't know that right away it lines up perfectly, but over time, I mean, you're gonna know that you're there, and it's gotta be somewhere in line, I would think. So
yeah, and then that inherently leads to helping people after you do that.
Well, really, if you think about everything, besides a lot of government jobs, but they're adding value to people.
Sure.
That's the only way that you can really make money is creating value for others.
Sort of like people open a mechanic shop.
Yeah.
You provide value to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, just a really simple example.
You have to create enough value to somebody where they value what you are providing more than the dollars that they have. Or otherwise, you're never going to get those dollars.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So,
And that's why our missions like overlap and run into other people and what they're doing, because the value that proposition that, it's not just a zero sum game, like people have something to offer you and they're rewarded for it and you're rewarded for it. And both people are happier after the transaction has happened.
Better off. And that's another thing that we've talked about before, is that we're taught that that's a bad thing. Like that profit is, kind of a bad thing. But if you're adding value to other people and making their situation better than before you met them, that's great. That's awesome.
Definitely. It's how the world should work, how things should be driven.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I would think, before this whole inflationary debt-based economy, whatever you want to call this BS that's going on right now, that's how things were back in the day when you couldn't just get this endless printed money.
Yeah, and be given something without doing anything.
Yeah, for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's definitely skewed a little bit now, and you have to look deeper to see it. Definitely. So, anything else you want to add, Kyle?
No, I think that kind of covers all I had to say.
Okay. Well, guys, we're doing a little bit different stuff here with our podcast. We're trying to help you to understand us and where we come from, and I hope that you're enjoying it and stuff. So, reach out to us if there's anything that you want us to talk about. But until then, we'll be back with another podcast next week.
This was the Cash Value Solutions Podcast. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review the show. Check us out at cashvaluesolutions.com. And don't forget to tune in next week.